Hey, how you doing? Welcome to Poem of the Day. And this is gonna be let me reframe myself. Let me get a little closer. Get a little closer, you guys. Nice and close. Comfortable, I'd say. So, welcome to Poem of the Day. This is gonna be our third and final reading of Edgar Allan Poe, this little mini-series, anthology, volume, so many words to express how wonderful it has been reading the Poemeister, and we've learned a lot about him on the way here. We've read A Dream Within a Dream, Spirits of the Dead, and for this third and final video on Edgar Allan Poe, may revisit, who knows, stay tuned. We're going to be reading the No, scratch that. We're not reading the Haunted Palace. I was looking at the Haunted Palace, but it's just kind of like about a house. And I was like, it being haunted. And I want to do something not really about an object, more about a character. So we could have done, Annabelle Lee, like a classic that's just absolutely phenomenal. You can't talk about Edgar Allan Poe without talking about his like super classics like Annabelle Lee, The Bells. Those are more like kind of like what you read in high school. You read 1984. High school readings. What was the other one? The other one was I'm trying to remember. I can't remember the other dystopian novel you read in high school. But this one, you're gonna be reading in high school. This poem, I think not. We're gonna be reading Imitation. Imitation by Edgar Allan Poe. Now, if you've read this in high school, I'm sorry, we're gonna read it again now. But to me, this is a more obscure one, so I'm looking forward to it. I've never read it, and you can see him right here. And look how enthusiastic he is. Look at that enthusiastic guy. You know? Imitation. Look at him. He's so happy. And I'm happy to read this. So let's jump right into it and feed our brains. Imitation. A dark, unfathomable tide of interminable pride. A mystery and a dream. Should my early life seem. I say that dream was fraught with a wild and waking thought of beings that have been, which my spirit hath not seen. Had I let them pass me by with a dreaming eye, let none of earth inherit that vision on my spirit. Those thoughts I would control as a spell upon his soul, for that bright hope at last and that light time have passed, and my worldly rest hath gone. With a sigh as it passed on, I care not though it perish, with a thought I then did cherish. That was cool. This one rhymed a lot. This one was very arithmetic. Wow, where do I jump into this big old pie of poetry? Well, I think the best way to do it is take my thumb and squish it right in there. So, a dark, unfathomable tide of interminable pride, a mystery and a dream, should my early life seem. So, this poem, it's using a personal pronoun I. It is about an individual. This individual is talking to you about himself. A dark, unfathomable tide of interminable pride, a mystery and a dream should my early life seem. He's talking about his early life. Or her. Or maybe it's poet himself. It's an biographical poem. That's my hitch. So his early life was a mystery and a dream, but he had a lot of pride. I say that dream was fraught, so that dream was jeopardized in some way. With a wild and waking thought, it was jeopardized with the thought of beings that have been, which my spirit hath not seen, had I let them pass me by with a dreaming eye. Now, that right off the dome of beings that have been, which my spirit hath not seen, I feel that too sometimes. I don't know if this is what he's trying to say, but I feel like I'm living kind of like a timeline, you know? The future is now, the past is now, it's all one, right? Like, there's things happening right now that there's so much time in one space. There's time around me. There's people that have come before me. There's people that have come after me. And when you're sitting in a space, you don't always realize that. You get caught up in things that don't matter. And I think that's what he is saying, that there are spirits that are here that he did not see. I let them pass me by with a dreaming eye. He was dreaming. And I think in Poe's case, and a lot of people's case, it's a shared human sentiment. We get so caught up in the present that we forget we're just passing through. Let none of earth inherit that vision on my spirit. Those thoughts I would control as a spell upon his soul. I don't know what that means. For that bright hope at last and that light time have passed. I know what that means. My worldly rest is gone. With the sighs that passed on. You know, it's just saying it's gone. My life is gone. For that bright hope at last and that time have passed. It's past. My worldly rest is gone. With sighs it passed on. Again, we're only here for a brief time. I care not though it perish with the thought I then did cherish. I care not though it perish with the thought I then did cherish. With the thought I then did cherish. I care not. He doesn't care that it passed. I care not though it perished. With the thought I then did cherish. I think I'm turning my brain into mush. I'm hyper-analyzing right now these last couple lines. But this poem digested as one big old piece. It's definitely autobiographical of Poe expressing the past and how he missed some things. Retrospect is always 2020. But that's just our cross to bear as human beings. We miss the details and only realize later after it's over. That's what makes life beautiful. So that has been Imitation by Edgar Allan Poe, 1809 to 1849. Poe, just for me to kind of like wrap this up, you know, Poe was born in Boston. He was in the United States Army. I know he went to West Point and then kind of like flunked out. And he was an editor, poet, and critic and had a profound impact on America and international literature. Both horror and detective fiction. You know, this is kind of like Mary, who wrote Frankenstein? Mary Shelley, right? Mary Frankenstein. Yeah, Mary Shelley. Look at that. Smart guy right here. I think that 1800s, that early 1800s literature, you know, 1800s was really when we start to see like horror literature, you know, be a really big thing. I don't know. I never read 1700s, 1600s going all the way back. Usually when I read horror about that time, it's in the form of the myth, you know, like who wants to go down and fight a minotaur and save your wife in like a labyrinth of death? You know, it's in the form of a myth. I think the 1800s, Poe pioneered it with other writers, as you can see, like Mary Shelley, the horror genre of literature, and it was consumed mainstream, you know, by people. And it's beautiful because today we have such great horror. You know, Stephen King I'm a huge fan of Stephen King. We see it today. You know, it started with these guys. I could be wrong. Might have started horror genre staple. Could have been earlier than these guys, early 1800s. Maybe it was somebody else in the 1800s, not Poe. But to me, that's who I see. And I think horror is really important as a genre, whether that be literature, film, or whomever, because it it expresses the human psyche in very raw, intense ways that we normally can't express. So I think it's a big deal that we had Poe on the front lines. But thank you for listening and following along with this little 3-part. We're gonna do more, and but yeah, thank you again. I hope you have a wonderful day, and as always, keep it real.